Yeah.
Who do you think in Nyanza can be endorsed by Baba to run on a national ticket?
Right now, I would have to think about that. I don't see somebody standing out.
No.
There's one guy I see, but I don't know if people would give
Let
him
me
day
tell
of
you.
time. Otienda Molo.
Otiende Amolo.
I don't know if people would give him day
Politically,
of time.
yeah.
What I would say about people, what people don't understand about Sifuna is that Sifuna is actually supposed to be in Fort Kenya, ile chama ya Weta, because his dad was actually an MP in Bungoma.
Yes.
With
Yes,
Fort
With
Kenya.
Fort Kenya, yeah.
Like hiyo ndo chama yao hiyo nini, right? So him also carving his part into ODM and into making his way, it's some work that he has done, and he has worked on his political career that way. It's a path he's carved out, right? He wasn't given. He came from he's somebody who came from the outfield, from outside, gotten into the party, and that is why he's usually fought by a lot of Luo Nyanza politicians. They want to block that pathway, because the way they did for Babu, and they want to block that pathway for him. Now, as Alia said, right now, you will feel like somebody who's worked in a party to get to that position where he is will be torn in between staying out and toughing it out here where I've built myself, or starting myself together. And he's at a crossroad. And unfortunately, Ali, you put him on the crosshairs with what you said, because sasa watu watasikia, wataanza kumuuliza kama atafanya hivyo. Who do you see him pushing for 2027? Because I don't see him on the ballot.
I don't see him on the ballot in 2027. I will not be surprised to see him push my friend Ali Hassan Joho. Watch that space. And now I'm talking politics. I'm not talking what we want. I'm just talking politics. If there's another political chess master, it's Ali Hassan Joho. Kenyan politics has changed. Mm-hmm. So right now, we don't know, until we have a sample recall election, we really will not know the strength of this new movement until we have a recall or we have a by-election. Of course, because usually by-elections are usually the spaces where sitting governments and anticipating governments, that's where they go, like wanapima na nguvu pale. That's where they go try to see who's stronger. And there was evidence, like before Jubilee won in 2013, you started seeing them win a slew of by-elections in Kajiado County and in certain parts. And that was similar to UDA. You started seeing them start winning by-elections in certain parts. So I think until when we have that, that's when we'll be able, because unfortunately, street action has, for street action, for us to claim the street action was effective, we have to see what happens in the ballot. There's a lot of like trying to block like the issue with IDs and IBC not being there.
I think that is where that is going. That right there is the
yes. So that's the issue. So I think that's the thing that people need to pay closer attention to. And I think my advice would be work with what we have while keep fighting for what you want.
True.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement.
So right now, if there's issues with people getting IDs because they're too expensive, or because like they're not being issued, so something needs to be done for the issuance to start. We need all these young people to go out and get IDs, such that when a push for voter registration starts, they all go en masse to register.
Because I think that is it's not the ultimate joker, like kama unacheza kadi, but that is another sure, that is a sure way to really put a stamp on what we have been doing, or what Gen Z have been doing for the last, like 2 months. Whatever happens in 2027, it's really going to be a window, because there's deflation right now because of what's going on. People are still being killed, people are disappearing, and right now probably things are simmering. Spaces are still going on.
Spaces are still happening.
Deep.
Yeah.
They are still going on.
They are more
deep.
focused. They're not as big as they used to be, but they're more focused.
They're
now
more focused
on certain
now
topics.
On certain topics, like and then that is an area and a forum where people are learning. And if in addition to the spaces, people really take to heart registration, register to vote.
Yeah.
Right now, they can probably try to put in place impediments, humps, bumps, roadblocks, red tape,
voter suppression,
for lack of a better word. Yes,
yeah.
Voter, that is the word. Voter suppression. Ultimately, like at some point, because these guys are probably looking and seeing, what, this shit is winding down. Because remember, everybody, this is so budgeted and it is so in depth. The tentacles are so deep. If you try to yank, you're really going to destabilize a lot. You're really going, because right now people are looking. I'm sure some of these gluttonous chokora idiots are looking at this and say, "What apa kimeumana?" Because if mofos themselves are not even driving in those big fancy cars of theirs, I'm sure there's a clip. You've seen the clip going around of how Muhammad Ali was being heckled.
Yeah. In Mombasa. Yeah.
So it's not checkmate. It's not checkmate.
It's
just check.
It's check.
But these guys, things can be done.
Yeah. But now for things to start, things need to start happening now for things to align well.
Omosh, who do you think in Nyanza can be endorsed by Baba to run on a national ticket?
Right now, I would have to think about that. I don't see somebody standing out. There's one guy I see, but I don't know if people would give him day of time. Otienda Molo. I don't know if people would give him day of time.
Yeah.
Because he was stifled. I think he was kind of like told to sit down.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know one thing about being a presidential candidate in Kenya, you also have to have that national appeal. Like you have to put your name on. The name has to be there in Metoka, right?
Correct.
And that is why if you see among the nominees of the Joho and Oparanya, those two people, those are the two people that I might see him if he's pushing somebody. Those are the two people that he might pushed in terms of.
Actually, I won't be surprised to see a Joparanya ticket.
Yeah. So those are the two people that I would say. The same way right now, if we say, for example, we were going for on the UDA side, right? Let's say on the UDA side, for some unforeseeable reason, Ruto is not on the ticket, right? They're not going to. They will definitely not give it to Gachagua.
Oh, definitely not.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Right. In that UDA stable, how they will do it, they will go for somebody like how can I say, Kindiki. Somebody who's been. No, he's not the most appealing, but his name has been in everyone's name.
I'll say
right.
this.
Everybody's mouth, like it's somebody who's they will go to why am I forgetting this name? Somebody like Chesang. Chesang is also a name. It's not the most likable or appealing politician, but he's more known. So on the other side, it has to be Ruto and Ruto, as somebody else builds his profile. But you see the way Kenyan politics is held up, and the way that if they were trying to do marriages right now and how they're going to do them, it shows you why Ruto chose to go across the aisle and work with Raila, because on his side, apart from him, there really is no one who can walk around the country and have the same influence as he does.
And you know, to add
And
on,
it got to a point he needed, and it got to, sorry,
Yeah.
and he got to a point where he needed to sanitize that national image of himself, and he had to go across the aisle to clean it up. Ali.
okay, let me go to Uno Mike, and then I want to add on to something that you've said.
Me,
Mika.
somebody that, and by the way, I'm just thinking from the outside looking in. So, but you guys can correct me. But I think also somebody.
But we're
that,
also on the outside.
no. You guys are more like really.
We're aware.
You guys are sort of connected to ODM ground in any please. Hizo
Wait,
WhatsApp
wacha
groups and-
hizo.
But I think somebody.
we are Gen Zs,
but I
we are
think,
Gen Zs.
yeah, whatever. But I think also somebody that can be fronted and people can actually coalesce around is a senator from Nairobi,
What?
Sifuna.
Oh, I don't know why I was thinking Sakaja. Yeah.
That's the governor, bro.
Yeah, I don't know why I was
The
thinking
hell is
Sakaja.
wrong with this guy?
Yeah. I
The
was
governor
like,
formerly known as.
No, I'm talking about
That's
Sifuna.
what. Yes.
no, Sifuna.
Yes.
Sifuna, I think.
Sifuna, it can be.
So here's
it's
my
either
advice.
he goes in or he doesn't.
He
can
he-
be.
But the way so
Yeah.
far,
I mean,
But here's my because he's been trying to balance both, which has been a very difficult balance. You know, like being with Gen Z and sticking with ODM. It's a very difficult
You have
balance.
to pick one side.
You know, and for those who are tuned in, you know, like I think this is a point at which I'll tell you, don't be surprised to see someone with a name rhyming with Miguna, you know, in studio. I'm not gonna say his name, but anyway, we're talking about Sifuna. For Sifuna, here's my advice, you know, like, and I will tell him this, you know, because I will be seeing him, you know, like now I'm revealing stuff I'm not supposed to be revealing now. This is the advice I will give to Sifuna. You know, Sifuna, if this is the time, you know, and this is the right part to make a consequential political move. Does anyone here remember the political move that made Raila? Let me just do a quick trivia here. There was a move that he pulled at some point, and that's when he became the Raila we know today. Does anyone remember what exactly he did? This was in the 90s. So this is what happened.
This was when
the Kanu,
Ali,
whatever.
no.
Ngoja tusikie Mika. Yeah, Mika.
No. When he left for the Kenya
Boom.
and went and created his own party.
So it wasn't only leaving for Kenya. He resigned from
resigned the
parliament.
office.
He was member of parliament Langata. He resigned, left for Kenya because there was after Jaramogi died, the father, there was a wrangle on the leadership of Ford Kenya, because Ford Kenya at that time was a very big political party. It was bigger than what ODM is right now. It was bigger than what UDA. It was a very big party. So there was a leadership wrangle, and Kijana Wamalwa, you know, like won that wrangle. So he decided to form his own party. So he resigned so that he could run for his seat under a different ticket, and formed the party. I think it was called. Was it called NDP or LDP?
NDP.
It was NDP, yeah. So he formed a party at that time. Yes, and that's when, you know, like especially his community, first of all, saw him, because Jaramogi was the leader before that. After Jaramogi died, you know, you still had Orengos. They were all, you know, like Raila, by the way, he wasn't even up there because the Orengos and the others were up there. Jaramogi's closest lieutenants were Orengo, Paul Muite, Gitobui Manyara. He had a very nationalistic outlook.
And the late Masinde Muliro. Actually,
the late Masinde Muliro too. Yeah, so those were Jaramogi's lieutenants. So when Raila did that, that's when his community first of all saw him, you know, like as someone who's strong, who can make decisions, and that's when he started building his national appeal, because he's always run for parliament in Nairobi. Raila has never run for parliament in Bondo. He's always run for parliament in Nairobi. So now, coming back to Sifuna, what Sifuna needs to do right now: resign. Once IBC is reconstituted, resign, seek a fresh mandate. Once you do that, you will get respect from the Gen Zs, and you can start preparing to become the Gen Z candidate, because there's no candidate who's been picked so far. So I think this is the time. This is the time to take, and the move is risky.
Yeah, I like
because
Sifuna.
if you resign,
I like Sifuna.
Because if you resign,
it is a risky move. Yeah.
it's a risky move.
But
Even when Raila resigned, it was very risky. Yeah.
The payoff
The
is
payoff.
man.
Payoff could be so big and so spectacular, because once you've resigned and you've been re-elected in a cosmopolitan county like Nairobi, after resigning on your own accord, you've unleashed the shackles of
Meaning he doesn't owe anybody.
you know-
you don't owe anyone anything. Then
Ali,
it's a big risk, yes, but the potential reward is big. We have a caller, but Mika, real quick, say what you have to say, and then we're gonna pick a caller. Number to call:
what I wanted to say about
202-683-4570 * 5 to speak. Mika.
what I want to say about people, what people don't understand about Sifuna is that Sifuna is actually supposed to be in Fort Kenya, ile chama ya Weta, because his dad was actually an MP in Bungoma.
Yes.
With
Yes,
Fort
With
Kenya.
Fort Kenya, yeah.
Like hiyo ndio chama yao hiyo nini, right? So him also carving his part into ODM and into making his way, it's some work that he has done, and he has worked on his political career that way. It's a path he's carved out, right? He wasn't given. He came from somebody who came from the outfield, from outside, gotten into the party, and that is why he's usually fought by a lot of Luo Nyanza politicians. They want to block that pathway, because the way they did for Babu, and they want to block that pathway for him. Now, as Aliyah said, right now, you will feel like somebody who's worked in a party to get to that position where he is will be torn in between staying out and toughing it out here where I've built myself, or starting myself together. And he's at a crossroad. And unfortunately, Ali, you put him on the crosshairs with what you said, because sasa watu watasikia, wataanza kumuuliza kama atafanya hivyo. But don't be surprised in the next election or two by what he pulls out, depending on the cards he plays. But so far, he's been a very shrewd and smart player on that chessboard.
Okay, sawa Mika. So that was just my advice. That's just my advice to him, because even if you lose, 3 years is not too far. At least you will have that respect. You will have that respect that, like at the top of the mountain, because of what was happening, you are willing to take a risk.
Do you remember? I think he was being interviewed. I think it was on before we take this call. I think on the Trevor show, the morning, whatever it's called, the Citizen show.
Yeah, Daybreak. Yeah,
And he talked about, I'm not going to be SG forever. I don't even want to be SG forever. I can step down and leave somebody else to whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a premonition.
It might be a
To what he was
premonition.
saying.
So do we take the call first,
Yes,
or do we
let's-
read the comments?
Let's read the comments. 2871, because the comments are coming. Were coming in.
They're
hot and
coming in
fast.
thick and fast. Yeah.
There's one I want you to particularly. Well, two
Yeah,
of them.
I know. I know which one you want me to read, but Steven JJ alikuwa anasema I can see Kalost hawa watu wanacheza chess ingine high stakes. So Kenyan is putting me on the spot. He's saying I have full heshima for Ali, but today I'm feeling very conflicted. Seeing him
Allah.
from a new POV, he confessed to a dark past where he worked for 1-800 call goons, and now he tells us that that drug peddler Joho is his boy. Eyebrows raised. So I personally know Joho. You know, like you don't have a choice over people you know and that you don't. I personally know him. So I never worked for 1-800 call goons. It's just that the way elections were set up during those days, if you're participating, like you would find yourself in the middle of things and you don't even know, and
Why is Omosh laughing?
and you know you're
Because
Your
can you
Hapo-
just imagine that you're dialing 1-800 for the goons?
yeah, I know.
That-
So because you're hapo, you're katikati, you're there, you're 19, 20 years old, you're there motivated, elections, but then you're in the middle
And you don't
of a
understand what's
process.
going on
You
until
don't
it
understand
happens.
what's going on
Until
and
it happens.
And then you're being told, where by the way, chika hizi do, awa say, unawapatia 50-50 bob wote. And where you're there,
That's the job you're given. You didn't
and
realize
you're given on the
that,
spot.
that you're the Nyahunyo blocker.
Yeah, you're given on the spot. So I didn't even know that these guys who are being paid 50 bob are the ones who have nyahunyos, like in their courts. Because me, I was wondering, I was looking around, must say the sun is shining, but how come there are so many guys with kabutis? That was the trick. You come with a coat or something, it has a whatever inside. So when things are thick, a signal is thrown, and then they have to do it all at the same time, because kama ni mtu moja anaweza kushikwa akafanywa mob justice.
Correct.
So when the signal goes, I think these guys had rehearsed, because that thing, it was like a symphony.
It was unleashed.
It was like a symphony, and they were all over the place. Wameji distribute on the line everywhere. Yani nyaunyos too, left, right, and
you
center.
were not part of the Nyahunyo receiver.
So now,
or they remembered you.
No, sasa mimi, these are guys I know, so they know everyone.
Understood.
They know everyone.
Understood.
So maybe I'm trying to understand what in the hell is going
on here.
So by the time, and things happen so fast,
yes,
by the time those nyaunyos are happening and people are gone, and then now there are people, the agents for the guy with the short line,
yes,
they're now insisting,
count now.
There's pressure,
yes.
count now.
Yes.
And then election is over. But anyway, we will talk about those tales another day.